gamers, and welcome to episode 411 of the Super Ultra Podcast Arcade for April 1st, 2023. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Nicholson, and with me is my co-host, Dominic Stallworth. What's going on this week, Dominic?
All right, man. It's the big week in sports, man. Like, what's been going on is that you have the baseball started, so that's like America's pastime, as people used to say. Now they say fuck it, but no. Now they changed like a lot of rules, so games have been faster. I've noticed that, and I do like that. I like it. So those people who don't like it, they can shove it up their ass and just take it. But yeah, that I like the speed of the game. I'm going up. I watched the O's win their first game, the opener, and they have like the third best record I think in the league for openers. I forgot who was the first because that team won two. Who was second? But yeah, it was a great game, even though they tried to give it away at the end, but luckily they didn't. And yeah, man, I'm just glad baseball is back because I feel for people who always say summer sucks because there's really nothing going on but baseball and they don't like baseball. I feel for you guys because you have nothing. Yeah, there's literally nothing for you to watch. Yeah. While for me, I'm a baseball fan, so I'm like, yay! I got 3 months of this, and it's a game every day. Every day there's a game, so it's like that's pretty awesome. Unless the Orioles suck, and then it's like, oh my god, it's 3 months. It's like 6 to 4 months of horrible. Yeah. But it's looking great. Adley Rutschman, man, he is the talk now. Like, he had 5 hits, the most any catcher has ever had on opening day. He had a home run. People are looking at him like, man, he's the next big star. Like, he's going to be one of the next big stars. There's quite a few. But yeah, I'm just thinking well, hope we get at least a World Series out of him before he goes to another team when he leaves. But yeah, man, it's just I'm really excited for this year. What else is happening? Then you have the NCAA basketball. We got the championships up here now. By the time you hear this, it will be over. If most likely I probably won't get the podcast till probably out Tuesday, so the whole thing will be over by then. Because the championship is Monday for the men's, Sunday for the women's, because they did their Final Four Friday. We're doing this on Saturday, and the women's. I meant to look it up before the podcast because the way my sister sounded like the South Carolina lost. They were the favorite, man. I believe they were undefeated, and they finally went down. Yep, they lost 77-73, man. Darn. Iowa has this girl on his team. Like, she can score. She can, I think she was the first person to have some certain stat in all of basketball. I mean, men's and women's in the last round. So she's been awesome. I don't know. Maybe she's the player of the year for them. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not good with all that stuff, but I know when I seen her, man, she just scored. Oh my gosh, she had 41 points. Yep. Yeah. She is. Wow. She is awesome. Yeah. She had 6 rebounds, 8 assists. She had better stats last week, but I get it because South Carolina, man, when Maryland played them, every time South Carolina missed the ball, they would get their own rebound. And that's what they did all season. Even if they probably shooting bad, it doesn't matter. They have these big girls that were able to box you out and get the rebound, and they'll put it back up. Mm-hmm. So it's darn, it's you don't know how to beat them. And I missed the game, this game, because I want to know how. Well, I can watch it. I can see highlights and stuff on it, but I want to know how did Iowa do it? How did they do it? I know they got this one girl who's awesome, but how did they get past the rebounds? Because they didn't out-rebound South Carolina, but they outscored them. I guess maybe they just outscored them. Maybe that's what it was or something. Because, it's crazy. It's crazy. The girl name is Clark. Well, that's her last name. Mm-hmm. Trying to click on here. Caitlin Clark. Yeah. I think you'll probably be hearing a lot about her in the WNBA.
Gotcha.
But yeah. So it's Iowa versus not Virginia Tech. I'm sorry. LSU, which is, oh man, LSU is the team. They were like the second best team in the league, but they couldn't beat South Carolina. So now they own the champ. Now this will be almost like bragging rights. If they win if LSU wins the championship, they'd be like, yeah, we couldn't beat y'all, but we got the championship. We got the overall championship.
Mm-hmm.
But this could also be Iowa beating both 1 and 2s, basically.
Yeah.
Like they beat the number one team and they beat the number 2 team. And that'll be great in their book, man. Well, technically Iowa is a higher seed than LSU. But LSU only has 2 losses, and the 2 losses are to South Carolina. I believe. Let me see. I believe so. Oh man, unless they lost before they played South Carolina in the SEC. I gotta see their schedule. Oh man, can you get me to their whole schedule? Here, yeah. Let's see. Back. No, see, they lost to Tennessee. That's why. Yeah, so LSU lost South Carolina, Tennessee. Tennessee's a good team too. So they lost. That was a close game against Tennessee. I think South Carolina beat them up pretty good. But yeah, they're a decent team. Like these are 2 teams that's close. So I think Iowa might be favored by Vegas. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean that should be a good game. Like it should be a good game. I know my sister's going to the game, so I hope she enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Now the men's, you got Miami versus a team that do not want to get wrong. I know the Final Four. I just know who's playing who. That's how much I pay attention to sports these days. All right. Yes, Connecticut is playing Miami, and San Diego State is playing against Florida Atlantic. This is the first time ever there's no number 1 seed in the Final Four. I believe that's what they said.
Wow.
Like, not even in the Elite 8, there was no number 1 seed.
Crazy.
That was the first time. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So now you have a 9 versus a 5. You have a 5 versus a 4. And Connecticut is the only team that's ever won a championship in their existence. So there's a chance that there could be somebody who wins for the first time. Wow. I'm kind of hoping. I mean, I like Connecticut. I like Connecticut. I mean, what I've seen of them, but I'm like, man, it'd be cool to see these other schools. Like Florida Atlantic. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, man, nobody expected them. Like number 9 seed. So I was like, man, that'd be cool if they go win that will just be the pinnacle. Like, yo, the parity is here, man. Like you don't know who the fuck's gonna win.
Yeah,
you don't know who the fuck's gonna win now, and it is ridiculous, but it's fun. I like it. I know a lot of people say, "Oh man," and somebody hates this because no blue bloods in there. There's no like top schools. Like the closest one is probably Connecticut. And Miami's a top school, but it's just that we're not known for basketball though. It's football. But yeah, I mean, and you know what? It doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. I ain't getting money from this. Mostly I lose money from this stuff. so I'm okay with it being what it is. It makes it really interesting for me.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's about it. So what is it? Is it WrestleMania?
It is WrestleMania though.
Yeah, it's WrestleMania. So it's a huge week.
Yeah, I mean it's actually crazy because they had a Ring of Honor show last night along with all like the indie shows. Because whenever they do WrestleMania, basically wrestling takes over that city. So they're in LA this year. So all of the indie promotions are also out there doing stuff as well, basically to capitalize on the wrestling fans consolidating in that city. So
what about AEW? They trying to take some of that too?
I'm not sure. I mean, they have a lot of the AEW guys show up on Ring of Honor since Tony Khan owns that. They'll also show up on some of the smaller indie stuff like GCW. I think has a couple of guys. I think that relationship has not been strained, but I think they're having less talent on those shows because the GCW shows can be a little extreme. They'll do like death matches and stuff there. John Moxley was actually doing that stuff. Like, he was their champion for a while, and then I think when he signed his new AEW contract, he said he was gonna like tone those down or stop completely doing those shows. But yeah, I mean, AEW gets involved, but it's not like they're doing a show out there, and they were just out in LA. Well, they were out in California like a couple of weeks ago, I think. So yeah, not quite the same, just because I think they don't want to necessarily try and compete with WWE in the same way, because like not only is it the Ring of Honor show that they had last night, they also have the NXT show this morning. Well, this afternoon, I guess. I think it starts at like 12 or something like that, because they're doing 2 nights of WrestleMania again. You know, their night 1 is tonight and then night 2 is tomorrow. So they already did the Hall of Fame last night. Rey Mysterio was kind of like the headliner there. They also put the Great Muta, who's a Japanese wrestler, in there who retired this year. Stacy Keibler from Baltimore. So, you know, big shout out to her, former Raven cheerleader.
For like, so he used to always remind me of that when we were younger. Like Stacy Keibler, but he used to always, because he had these magazines and posters of her and all the others, like wrestling divas. Yeah. And those were good times.
She's a handsome lady, Dominic.
She's a handsome lady. Okay.
Sorry, you told me I couldn't use cute anymore. So,
well, you definitely want to call her cute. I say she's sexy.
Yeah, she is. All right. So yeah. So to get into the actual the main event of the WrestleMania situation, night 1 is going to be like John Cena versus Austin Theory. That's going to be a big match for Austin Theory. It sounds like it's supposed to open the show, which means like John Cena is going to be on a plane the minute that match is over to go film Peacemaker season 2 or something. So it seems unlikely he's going to win that. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. Logan Paul is an incredible wrestler, and, you know, seemingly a kind of crappy human being with the stuff that, you know, has happened in the past. Now there's all this NFT stuff going around him as well, you know, basically making like a scam NFT thing. But it's hard to deny his like athleticism and how much he has seemingly put the work in to be a good wrestler. So, you know, we already know Seth Rollins is a great wrestler. That should be a very good match. Trish Stratus and Lita are back. I don't know if we've talked about that at all, but they're teaming with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch and Lita right now are actually the women tag team champions. They're going to be facing Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Shirai, who is the Damage Control group that debuted a couple of months ago at SummerSlam. There's a tag team match for the men. There's a tag team match for the women. That's kind of like their equivalent of filler matches to get more of the people on the card. Not really much to say about that. Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio, father versus son. That should be an entertaining match. The build to that has actually been a lot of fun. Most of it is taking place like on the internet, because there's always like videos of Dominic trying to go to like Christmas or Thanksgiving and always getting thrown out or beating up his dad or something like that. So that's been a lot of fun. You know, at one point Dominic went to jail, so now he's like hardened. But he's also like totally not. And also he's just like full blown. He's grown out his hair into a mullet. He's looking like Eddie Guerrero. You know, he said the other night, I wish Eddie was my dad, because there's famously a match between Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, a ladder match where they had custody of Dominic on the line. So like that would be really awesome if not only that. Sorry, go ahead.
That would be a match like please let me lose. What the fuck?
Both of them apparently wanted it very badly. Vicky Guerrero, it sounds like it was Eddie's wife, his widow. It sounds like she's not with AEW anymore, so it would be pretty incredible if they got her involved in this in some shape or form. Dominic coming out in like Eddie Guerrero gear, or, you know, coming out to his music or something would be pretty awesome. showing up in a lowrider like Eddie used to. That would be pretty awesome. That would be
Eddie Guerrero passed away, right?
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero's been.
Yeah, how did he die?
I don't know if it was ever like explicitly said. I know there was some speculation that it was drugs, but I think it was like he basically had a heart attack, I think.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if it was related to other outside influences or not. But yeah. That I think that happened shortly after the Chris Benoit stuff, and I think Eddie took that stuff real hard because they were good friends. Yeah, so that should be a good match. Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley won the Women's Royal Rumble and challenged Charlotte, who is currently the SmackDown Women's Champion. That should be good. And then the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That should just be incredible. That's a continuation of the whole Bloodline storyline that's been going on with Roman Reigns manipulating the Usos and Sami Zayn and all that fun stuff. That's been great. It seems like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to win that, and this is going to lead to kind of the dissolving of the Bloodline, because a lot of the speculation is that Cody Rhodes will also beat Roman Reigns. That, of course, being the main event of Night 2. Night 2 also has Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship. That's just going to be 3 big men beating the crap out of each other. That should be a lot of fun. Edge versus Finn Balor in a Hell in a Cell match. That should be pretty cool because they're doing the demon Finn Balor thing finally again. They're bringing that back. Hopefully, if they're doing that whole spectacle, that they're going to have Finn Balor win that. We'll see, though. Bianca Belair versus Asuka. That should be a good match for the Women's Raw Championship. There hasn't been really much build there, though, because neither of them are like heels. It's just kind of like really good wrestler versus really good wrestler, and they haven't really been telling much story outside of that to kind of build up to that. So that's been kind of unfortunate, but I expect that match to be really good. And then Brock Lesnar versus Omos. He is just a very large man. So it seems like, I don't know who wins that if you have Omos go over. He's a younger guy that they're maybe trying to build up. Or it could just be that this is just kind of fodder to make Brock Lesnar look like an even bigger monster because he F5'd this like 7 foot plus tall guy. It feels like that's probably it feels like that could be the direction they're going to go, but also like, Omos is with MVP, who was with Bobby Lashley for a while, and they had kind of a faction thing, the Hurt Business. Bobby Lashley is not actually on the WrestleMania card right now. Originally, it seemed like they were going to be building up something between him and Bray Wyatt, and then Bray Wyatt kind of just disappeared from television. There's been some speculation that he's injured or something's going on with him, some kind of illness. So that kind of leaves Bobby Lashley just kind of off in the ether. He did win the Andre the Giant Battle Royale on SmackDown last night, so maybe that gives him some kind of in to do something if he's not somehow involved in that match. But yeah, the big thing is going to be Roman versus Cody. It seems like kind of a given that Cody's going to go over here and then Roman will take some time off. And you know, everybody in the crowds at the live shows love Cody. You know, it's not an AEW situation where he's kind of made himself the focal point and the fans have turned on him. Like that's the exact way you can tell there is a difference between the WWE crowd and the AEW crowd. Like there's crossover there, obviously, you know, with your hardcore wrestling fans who just kind of watch everything. But the people that are in the stands of a WWE show are a lot of times younger kids and families, you know, just looking to have a good time. And Cody provides that. So, you know, that's good. So that is going to be these 2 nights. It's going to be a lot of wrestling, Dominic. Man,
that sounds awesome, man. You have it like what do you do for this? Like, do you have like a setup, man? Like some party wings or something set up or something like that?
Nah, I'm not going to do anything special, but I'm hoping to spend some time watching it. I don't know with the kiddo. Like WWE stuff, I can watch with her a little more because AEW stuff ends up bloody a lot of times.
So basically, like if it was the Attitude Era, it would have been different.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely some images from the Attitude Era that are maybe not as family friendly.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it made a but I think it
made a good impression.
Actually, it
on
probably
you,
ruined a
didn't
generation. It probably ruined a generation. I don't know. Or helped it.
When you think about it, I mean, that's we were definitely older than she is, but that's basically what we grew up on, right? So
yeah,
basically ruined a generation. Absolutely.
And I just be chokeholding women through tables.
Jesus.
All day.
There's been a lot of videos of like the Dudleys putting Stacy Keibler through a table because, she's going into the Hall of Fame. And it's like, man, this was definitely kind of a different time.
Yeah. It's a time when you can hit women, Daniel. Now we know we're not supposed to. So
jeez. I've always known we were supposed to, Dominic, but that didn't stop some people. And that didn't stop other people from cheering them doing it.
They had to take their Well, let's see. It was a way to take their frustrations. I'll say like those men. They say, "Man, I just hate my wife, but I'm just gonna pretend that's her. Stacey Kluber's my wife, and the Dudleys are put her through a table. Then I don't have to go to jail."
Exactly, because at least she's getting paid to go through that table.
Yeah, exactly.
Unlike the hush money
it kept marriages alive. That's what they did. There. It kept marriages alive. Dominic. It kept them good, Daniel.
Yes, wrestling, notorious for keeping marriages together, Dominic.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So where we at here? We got what we've been watching.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead because everything I watched was an old movie.
Okay.
So I watched The Dark Knight Rises again.
Okay.
I have not seen this movie since it came out in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it because I went to my friends to see it, and I was disappointed. I didn't hate the movie, but I was disappointed. Like it wasn't as good. But it's been so many years. I was like, I'm gonna check it out again. So I found like there is. I think the Blu-ray does have it where the IMAX scenes, so I never seen them. And this is a lot more IMAX scenes than it was in The Dark Knight. And they look good. I mean, this video looks really good. Even on the Oculus, it looks really good. And I'm noticing, like, I don't know, like the 3D stuff, I mean, it's cool, the spectacle. But one time I was watching what was it? Oh, I should have put this up here. Star Trek Into Darkness, because I haven't seen that since the theaters either, and I watched that recently. I was watching that, and it was an IMAX version, and then there's the 3D. Uh-huh. So I was watching a little bit of 3D, and I was like, yeah, I mean, it's all right. I mean, but it wasn't like filmed in 3D or nothing.
Right.
But it was all right. I think that's how I saw the movie in 3D anyway. But then I looked at the IMAX one. It just looks so clear, man. And it's just like, I say, as much as I just wanted like the spectacle of 3D, that IMAX stuff looked really good. Yeah. I wish it could look good and be 3D, but I know that just takes a lot. Yeah. And it probably looks good if you have a display that does that, but I don't have the Oculus is not going to do that. I don't think they have that type of format. So I just stick with the IMAX one. I said I'm just going to stick with the IMAX one, and maybe one day, sometime, I'll watch it again and just in 3D. Because those IMAX scenes look really good in Star Trek. And I like Star Trek Into Darkness. I mean, it has. I mean, all the new Star Treks had their problems, but overall, I always enjoyed them. Even the Beyond one.
Into Darkness, the one with Khan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Doctor Strange was Khan. Yes.
Yeah, Doctor Strange. Yep.
Yeah. And I like that. I mean, I know some Trekkies probably don't. My dad considers himself Trekkie. He says that. He says like. He likes sci-fi. I mean, he likes Star Trek, but he's not a guy who would just be overboard, like be particular. It's like, if you don't like something, he don't like something. But he's not going to be that guy like, oh, this is not accurate, or something like that. Like something like that. He's not that type of guy. So yeah, I enjoyed that movie. And the Batman. Now, Batman. Here's the thing. Like, I think overall, it's a decent film. I think it's a decent bet. I mean, I think I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I liked it. If Bane's voice was just different, I think it would be even better.
Yeah.
I think that was really the only, like, the stuff Bane says and stuff and everything, it's cool. It's like, yeah, that's cool. But why do you have to talk like this? Like, why did he choose a mask where, like, oh, the guy, he can't talk because he got hurt or something like that, like he something wrong with the voice? Why? That was never a thing with Bane. No. Why? It just, yeah, I mean, okay, I ain't gonna say it's bad, but, like, you didn't make him Bane is Hispanic. I mean, he's I forgot where he's from. Is he from Mexico? I want to say he's from Mexico.
Yeah,
the last time I saw it. Yeah, so, like, because there's the whole mask thing is like a luchador kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that, like, I don't care that you don't have, like, oh, he puts stuff in his body to make him strong, because this is more of a realistic take on Batman, and so I'm good with that. You can just got, like, having be Bane was fine. I know, like, even though he's not Mexican, but I mean, it's still a good character, and the way you did this character is fine. I mean, like, this how he came to be is, I think that was an okay story. Like, he was there helping Talia to get out that prison and everything. But just the whole why you had to make the voice thing like that is like, dude, there was no reason. There's literally no reason. I just want to know what was he going for? Like, or he thought this was going to be something, and it just turned into a joke. Because now that's a joke, and Harley Quinn, that the way Bane talking and stuff, that's a joke. like Bane doesn't talk like this. It's like, what the hell? Yeah, I'm like, darn, man, because I read some comments with Bane, and I'm like, man, like, they could have really, like, Christopher Nolan could have done a great job with Bane. I thought he could have done a great job. Like, that direction he went with them was not, man.
Yeah.
It just wasn't good. But overall, the movie looked great. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I liked the whole thing of Bruce getting beaten down but coming back up. And then him, I guess. But see, some people were speculating like, oh, that was just a dream of Alfred. That wasn't really Bruce. I remember saying that. Though I understand people saying that, because I'm like, how does Bruce Wayne just go out of the country and not be known? Like, he didn't have plastic surgery.
He's only an American celebrity, don't
he? Yeah, right. The richest man in the world, American celebrity. Okay. But yeah, so that's that. Yeah, that was weird. But it's like, whatever. That's all right. I mean, it was a cool ending. I didn't like also the how Joseph Gordon-Levitt, his real name, she said Robin.
Yeah.
I was like, no, could have been, because I was waiting when in the movie theaters, I was just waiting like, oh, she gonna call him Dick,
yeah,
or something like that, or Richard. She gonna say Richard, and he would have said like, you say use your real name, Richard. It said, nah, I say I prefer Dick.
Yeah, that would have been more of an Easter egg than just being like, my name is Robin.
Robin. I said, your name's not Robin.
So does that mean if he were to become Robin, that he wouldn't actually be using an alias? He would just
well, that's the thing. He's not going to be Robin. I guess he goes straight to Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, that universe is over, but it's like, yeah, I was like, dude, nobody in that whole studio could have said, oh, we got to change this. You can't call him Robin. They say, but people won't know who he... What's that? That's a thought process. Like, do people know Robin's name? I was like, even the people who didn't know, that somebody would have told them. It's like, oh, okay. Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Oh, man. There's got to be someone who edited these movies to fix Bane's voice and to change that line at the end. What else did another old movie I watched, and I'm off the page. Okay, Skyfall. I watched Skyfall again. So
also
this is also... Yes, through the Oculus, yes. And they don't really have an IMAX version of this. I don't know how many scenes were in IMAX when it was out. I know it was in IMAX. I don't know how many scenes were filmed in IMAX. But they didn't have really... But it was a good quality. But it was a good quality that I had. And yeah, I mean, I remember you telling me like how James Bond movies, the way they're filmed, just looks so good. And it's like, yeah, man, it's just, yeah. This is like at the time, well, as of right now, it still is my favorite James Bond movie. Is Skyfall. I liked it better than, well, 2 was always a downer for me. I watched it again. I liked it better now, but it was a downer for me.
That's Quantum of Solace, right?
Yeah, Quantum of Solace. And Casino Royale, I really liked. I really liked that one. And Skyfall, I think it upped it. And I was like, yeah, man, Skyfall was great. The villain was great. Yeah, it was. And sad seeing Q die at the end. But other than that, yes. I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, it was yeah. I didn't think she was going to die. I mean, when I was watching the movie, I didn't think she was going to die. I was like, oh wow, they really did kill her. And then I guess you finally get Moneypenny. And I was really on the message boards then where people complain like, oh, she's black.
I don't know. I'm sure somebody was. Their opinion doesn't matter though.
But yeah, that movie, it was fun to watch. And I was like, yeah. And I didn't really remember a lot of the movie, even though I knew I liked it. I mean, that's just like the Batman. The Batman, I just remember Bane's voice. I remember him getting beat up and the prison part. But a lot of stuff in between, I forgot that Alfred left. I forgot to say, oh yeah, he did leave him. And then he came back when he thought he was already dead.
Yeah.
I was like, you left. You say, whatever, you traitor. But yeah, these movies I haven't really seen in a long time. But yeah, it was cool to see them again. Oh, I did watch Born Supremacy again too. Actually, that was 2 weeks ago. Because
is that the last one?
No, that's the
second one.
The second one. That's the second one. Because Born Ultimatum is the third one, and then you got those other Borns, which I'd never seen, so they'll be new.
Yeah, we don't count those.
Okay.
Anything starring Jeremy Renner, we don't count.
I'm going to check them out just to see.
God, I forgot they did that Jason Bourne movie with Matt Damon again.
But yeah, with both of them, right? It was both.
Yeah, of them. I think both of them was in
there. So Supremacy, I looked. Wait a minute. Yeah, Born Supremacy. Then the last one was Born Legacy. I think that's what it is. That's what the last one probably was.
That's the Jeremy Renner one. So it was Identity, Supremacy, Ultimatum, Legacy, and then Jason Bourne.
Oh, then Jason Bourne. Okay. Yeah. So I watched Supremacy. I didn't like it when I first saw it. I didn't like it. Like, I loved Born Identity, but I did not like Born Supremacy when I first saw it. Now that I watched it again, I actually like it a bit more. I like it a little bit more. Not as good as one though. I think because whatever I was doing at the time, I wasn't probably focused on the movie because I never understood. Like, I didn't really understood what was going on, and it just seemed like I was like, I think I was so upset that woman died. I think that's what it was. I was like, why'd they kill her? And I said, why did they? It was all right, but it wasn't. It definitely wasn't good as one. And I remember liking 3, but I don't remember what happened in 3. So I'll watch that.
Yeah, all I remember is like him in New York and like trying to take down the agency there or something like that.
Yeah. Even though they're supposed to be already down, but I guess they're not. And yeah,
it turns out the government was the agency the entire time or something.
Well, we know. Yeah, they were. But technically they were. We already know that. They were the you mean just the government itself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's just all right. So what have you been watching?
So I finished up that series Shrinking that I talked about last week on Apple Plus. I really ended up enjoying that a lot. It sounds like they're going to maybe be doing a second season, but that's the one with Jason Segel and Harrison Ford. So that was cool. Not much to say otherwise. I don't know that there's a lot of spoiling to it. It's just, about character growth basically, but it's quite enjoyable. I also watched the latest episode of Mandalorian. This is another one that like the action was a lot of fun, but it felt like it wasn't really pushing things along much as far as like the overall story of the season until maybe the last like 5 to 10 minutes of it. It's kind of like, oh, this is why this was important. So they're definitely going some places with this, and it felt like in that the second episode, I should say, actually, like it felt like this season could be like a very big thing, and they could still be going in that direction. But it felt like if they were hitting this point in the second episode, that it was only going to be like, oh man, there's just going to be so much that's going to happen in this season. But really, it feels like they've kind of just padded it out, and not necessarily in a bad way. I don't mean to say that. It's still quite enjoyable, but it's just not hitting the like grand spectacle that I thought it might, because they were doing some of the things that we kind of anticipated for like the later part of the season, just like instantaneously. So yeah, it's still a very good show. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Every time the episode ends, it pops up with Andor, you should watch this. And I'm like, yeah, I really should get around to watching that. Now that I finished off Shrinking, maybe that's something that I pick up. Because I do want to watch the Tetris movie that just came out on Apple Plus this past week. That looks pretty good.
So it's finally out, because I just kept looking, because I never looked at the date when it came out, and I just said, fuck it, I'll find out somehow.
yeah, that's out now. I think it came out only the 29th or something like that. I'm still watching Ted Lasso, but that's only one episode a week, so that's not really filling too much time. And I've been trying, because I wake up early in the morning, and I've been trying to like at least start like a television show before I leave work. And if it's like 30 minutes, I can usually get through it. That's kind of the way I've been watching The Mandalorian. Yeah, because that's the thing about, like you were talking about with the Bourne movies, is like, I feel like the television that is going on right now is so good that I don't feel like I can do other things while I'm watching it, because like it demands that I pay attention to it. So it does take time that I then can't, play video games or something like that.
Like good television. Like the stuff that I see on I know my mother be watching, like the Chicago Fire, Chicago, and then all the shows like that, like 911. Then there's 911. I think Dallas or something Texas. But yeah,
it's like 20 million.
It's like at this point. You don't have to. Like, I can just come in after 30 minutes of the show and just be like, oh yeah, I didn't miss nothing. I'm saying, and just get what's going on.
Yeah,
like that stuff is like I can have that in the background and just be doing something while it's on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't have like Mandalorian or something like this.
Yeah. Or
like Andor. I can't have that on the background and be like probably playing a game at the same time or something like that.
Exactly.
Or even like baseball where I don't have to really think much. But yeah, so it does. It's like I got to set. So okay, I'm just gonna watch this for now, and then I'll go somewhere else. But see, that's why I watch things in piecemeal. I haven't watched a movie straight like at home, and I don't know how long.
Yeah.
And a few times I've done it, like if some people came over and we watched something, I get antsy. Then I start like having to move and stuff, and like it's like ooh. I was like, darn, I want to leave right now, but let me just stick it out, and then I'll be all right eventually. But I feel like if I was by myself, I would have stopped it and I'd be like, okay, I'll watch some more tomorrow or later on or whatever time it is. I say maybe I'll watch it later on day. I'll catch up on it. Yeah, I just haven't. I don't know, man. I just can't sit still for that long.
I'm right there with you. I'm like, oh well, if we gotta go to the bathroom, we can just pause this. It'll be fine. We'll come back. It's not like, oh my god, we gotta pause this. Like, I can't believe it. What are we doing here? Yeah.
In movie theater though, I seem to be all right. I think it's just an environment for me.
Yeah.
Movie theater, I'm all right.
Same.
No, I can answer that too, Daniel. I'll just get up and walk around the movie theater.
You can just pace the aisles. I mean, I think that's the thing for me, especially, is like in the theater, I'm locked in. I'm like, I don't want to be the guy with my phone out. I just want to sit here and stare at the screen. But like at home, I'm like, what's going on my phone? I could be checking something out. Next thing you know, I'm like, what just happened? What did I miss here?
All right, so I guess we can get into what we've been playing. So you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start it off. We talked last week about how it was the 20th year anniversary of the Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda. So I got the itch to see if I could. What's that?
Did it come out first in Japan? How early was it?
What was it? Let's see. Wind Waker. I think it was only like a couple of days or something like that, if I recall. Release date. Initial was okay. Maybe it was a little longer. Japan, it came out in December, and then North America came out in March.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I was like, let me see, because I never had a Wii U. They still haven't released that HD one on the Switch yet, which I don't know what they're waiting for. So I was like, let me see if I can get that HD one working. I thought even just like the GameCube one, you could probably upscale it or whatever, and it probably looks pretty good because that art style is holds up pretty well, right? Like I'm not worried about like how many polygons I can see or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But with how well
just turn the progressive scan on, Daniel.
Yep, had to get those special cables down. But yeah, with the HD collection and how well the CMU emulation works for the Wii U, I figured I'd give that a try and see if I could get that set up and working. The Nintendo eShop is down now, but of course I went out to my local GameStop and bought a used copy of the HD collection so that I could burn my own backup of it and then play this game.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Legally, of course, through my emulator. Yeah, and let me tell you, like, that game looks incredible. Of course, it has native widescreen support because it is, a Wii U game that was remastered after all. I just played through the first fortress after your sister gets kidnapped, and then you end up on the little town island afterwards. Just working my way through that right now. But man, does that game look incredible. It plays perfectly on an Xbox controller because in that game they let you choose between using the Wii U gamepad and just your Pro controller, and because the Pro controller is just a regular controller, you can just have regular button inputs. You don't have to worry about like having a little second screen set up, so when you look at the bottom screen or anything like that, you press start, it opens up the menu on the screen perfectly, so there's no complications whatsoever. It's awesome so far. It runs incredibly well. I haven't had any issues so far. Again, I'm pretty early on in it, but it's just bringing back those memories, and I'm excited to get some of the items you get later on. You get your little grappling hook that you throw on stuff, and then you can swing around wherever you want. Like, man, this game is awesome, and I'm hoping to get as far into the game as getting to the underwater city and seeing Hyrule restore its color and everything. Spoilers, but that again, like, that's the moment I always bring up because it's so amazing. But sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, did you record any of it?
No, not yet. I should have some for you for this podcast though. I'll get a little bit for you. So yeah, tell
your daughter to play some. Tell your daughter to play, like, to record some stuff.
just Link pressed up against a wall for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe randomly slashing at things. The only thing that, and this isn't even like, I think it's basically just from Breath of the Wild being like the most recent 3D Zelda I've played. Not having a jump button is kind of weird, because all that stuff is contextual.
That's right. I forget. That's right. That was in Breath of the Wild. But yeah, that was the thing.
But other than that, everything feels, pretty modern, and it's fantastic so far. So yeah. So what have you been playing this week, Dominic?
All right. So I've been playing some more Persona 3, so there's not really much to talk about there. MLB The Show 23 has been out. It came out on everywhere on Tuesday. So I been playing that game, and yeah, man. I mean, it's MLB The Show. It's not a lot of difference, at least in the modes I play. Like, I don't play Diamond Dynasty. I did try out Diamond Dynasty. I did some things on like single player of Diamond Dynasty where like they have programs just like it seems like all games have now. Like, hey, you do these missions and you level up, you get a pack, you level up in this program thing, like people have seasons, how you level up. They have things like seasons too. Then they got little things like program, like this program is for a division thing they call it. I forgot what they call it. And then there's a program for just playing against people, and it's a lot of shit, man. I mean, it's a whole lot of shit, and like I'm just trying to get some packs, unlock some things just so I can have them for my franchise and my player. Their version. What is it? Roll to the Show player. Because I don't really care about doing Diamond Dynasty stuff. I mean, I like the moment stuff, but that's all I like to do. But thing is, it's a mixture. It's like, yeah, some tasks are like certain moments in the game, like, hey, you have to get a run in 10 outs or something like that, or you have to pitch and don't give up a run or something like that. They do that. But. Or like a real moment, and you just reliving it. But then they have tasks where you have to play against a computer in a Diamond Dynasty game. And Diamond Dynasty games, I think, are usually like 3 innings. It's like I don't want to play against a computer, and I don't want to do that. That's like I'd rather do the moments thing and just keep doing that all the time. Than do that. I'm gonna play against a computer. I want to play in franchise mode, or I want to play Roll and Show. Like I don't want to do this. Yeah, it's so that's not for me. That stuff is not for me. But I've been playing Road to the Show because I want to build up my character, because then I can draft my character in franchise, because I did that last season. So I'm trying to build him up to be certain level. But the good thing about that is that you can still build up that character while he's in franchise mode, and he'll raise up, as you build him up. So it's like, oh, okay. So it's like that's cool. Even though I think last year it was like a glitch. I don't know if it was a glitch or that's how it is. Because it says my age. My age was 1. Like they didn't say 18. But like, so each year it goes up. Is it like goes 2, 3? It's just like, oh, so can I play for like until I'm like 35? I don't play for 35 years in baseball. I said, could I get that far? I don't even know how many seasons you can go up to in franchise mode, but. And I know I'm not going to be able to. I'm not going to play that many, but I'll say this got to be a glitch, man. I'll say this is weird. But yeah, the same commentators are there from last year, and that was the first time last year. So they probably did some new things with the voices, but I haven't really had the broadcast on, because I usually like because I'm trying to really rush through the Road to the Show stuff I really want to play this franchise. And I played a few franchise games on the first season I played. I didn't play the whole game. Like I would just sim, like you can manage the game, and I just manage it, then I'll jump in or something like that and start playing. And I mean, it looks the same. I've been playing mostly on the cloud though. I haven't been playing on the Xbox One. And I mean, it looks the same. I mean, I don't think much changed as far as graphically. I do think the animations have changed as far as like celebrations. Like I've never seen these celebrations. These type of celebrations in 22. The way they like really get pumped when you do like you get a run to tie the game or something. Like people like your other players. It's pretty cool, and it's somewhat realistic looking. So I was like, okay, I like that. That's pretty awesome. I think went with that. Now they just get to the point where, so they got vendors, but they actually because now they have like a thing called fan cam. Like sometimes when it goes between innings, you can turn around. So I can turn around, I can see the concession stands. but there's nobody behind them, Daniel. I was like, how are the people getting their food? It's like, how are they eating food?
Robots now,
in the stadium.
They've been replaced.
So I was like, now they got to do that, Daniel. They got to big. I want to see concession stands next time with lines and people ordering it. And then at some point, I'm going to be able to move the camera in the back, Daniel, to see them cooking. Cooking the food and everything. Making the cotton candy. They say, I want to see it all. You put everything in the game. But yeah, man, I'm just having fun with this, like baseball season and playing this. Yep. And I believe the show 22 is off now. I believe it was like later this week we're at Saturday. So I guess it's off now. I know my friend, he ended up buying the show 22 for the Switch and transfer his character over. So just like he can play. And I said, yeah, that's a good idea. Because honestly, I'm thinking about it like, you know what? That'll be the only way I can get it, I think. I mean, I would have to buy the game. I don't know how can I get that character without buying the game to get the character if I want to push it to the Switch. So he's dead forever. The character's dead forever. Because I'm damn sure I ain't gonna buy that game again. Yeah. So what else did I play? Oh yes, a new game did come out this week, and it was on Game Pass. Infinite Guitars. It's like a RPG guitar rhythm game. It looks like something happened to the world that you're from, at least your family is from. Like, I'm still at the very beginning, so I still am like a fish out of water with this game. So I don't know everything that's going on or why, but it's like you're with your uncle, and I believe your father must have passed. And like y'all have this power with like a guitar, like that can do special things with like fighting and everything. It's like an RPG. Like a mixture of RPG rhythm bass thing. Like you can move around. Then again, you can move around like in the character, like your little character or something like that. And then when you get into fights, well, actually, was it a fight? It wasn't really a fight. I think I was trying to burst something open. But I think fights too. Like you get to a rhythm bass, like you press the right buttons at the right time. There's some moves you can do even outside of like battle, like you have to do, and you learn. Like I'm spring on the game. I mean, it seems interesting. There is no voice acting, so you do have to read. But yeah, I mean, I'm just so darn early. I did record what I played, but like I don't know like what's going on. Like why and then we came back to the planet that it looks like it's all garbage now. I think that's where we were, and I guess he's trying to teach you like what happened, like why it's like this and stuff like that. And he's teach you how to use your powers and things of that nature. So I guess I'm probably gonna find out like you're supposed to go on some big quests or something and stop somebody and whatever. Yeah, so that's all. Oh, and I also played Marvel Snap, the Marvel phone game, because I was like at the hospital, so I was just waiting, and I pulled that out to play, and I played quite a few matches. Yeah, man. I guess because I just got to the ranked matches, so I'm guessing everybody early on who I was playing against, they probably weren't ranked. They probably was like new like me, and
they might have also just been bots. Apparently, that game like just mixes in bots. It's weird.
Oh, so that's why they're stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, darn, I was like, this is too easy. How I'm being this person, and I don't really know what I'm doing. So I was like, they must don't know what they're doing too.
Yeah.
But so maybe that's what it is. Yeah, but now I'm at the ranked matches, so maybe I'll start playing more real people, I guess. I don't know. And I'll see what happens, like how much harder it gets. But I see like I learned like leveling up the cards and what currency I can use on what. Cause I'm never gonna buy anything, so it's like I'm using so a lot of things I'm not gonna be getting. Yeah, that game is fun. I do like it's fun. It's quick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quick and simple. Like you know that hey, if whoever wins, you get 3 blocks. And whoever wins 2 of those blocks, you know, you win the game. Like it's just a number. Like you put your cards, the highest number wins. But your cards have abilities. They might make other cards stronger in that block, or even transfer to the other blocks. if you have a powerful card.
Yeah.
That gives them abilities. And then, or you can take away from your opponent, like make them not as strong and take away points from them, or vice versa. They can do the same to you. So it's fun. I mean, it's fun. And it's quick. And it's like, and you get XP just like, I mean, if you lose, you get XP and everything. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of course, Hearthstone, but it's a whole lot quicker, a whole lot simpler.
Yeah.
Than Hearthstone. And Hearthstone's pretty simple. That's the thing. But this goes beyond simple. But it also has a lot of those. Yeah. But it also has, this is like Hearthstone is like a dumbed down Magic the Gathering. And like Magic Gathering is just a whole fucking new level that I'll probably never want to get into.
Yeah.
But yeah, playing this, like, but they also have those bells and whistles that like really shiny and the noisy that make you like ching ching, like, you know, at a casino, that make you want to, you know, get stuff. It makes you feel good when you level up. It's like, I like that sound, I like that feeling. Yeah. And man, yeah, it really gets the serotonin levels up there. You know what I mean? Yeah, get them up. But yeah, it's a cool game. I mean, it's a cool phone game. I like it. I like it better than Hearthstone. I played on the Hearthstone on the phone. I like playing that much more. All right. So I guess we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to the flashback segment.
All right.
And we're back. And now we're flashbacking to... Actually, before we get into this is a whole new month for the flashback segment. So, you know, every new month, we do like gaming covers from magazines. But before I get to that, there is one thing that did... there were really no games that came out for these 2 days that was for April, but Square Enix was formed, I think either April 1st or April 2nd. I forget what it was. One of those days. They were
wow.
They were formed. This is when they finally they came together, and they said they got married. And so that's how that happened. And what else? Oh yes, and when this happened, like, I mean, it was a big deal in the gaming world, but not for me because I didn't know who Enix was. So they were saying, like, I remember Game Informer. I think Game Informer knew, like, a lot of people over the US didn't know what Enix was either, or at least like Dragon Quest. It's like, hey, they're known for like Dragon Quest was like biggest thing. They started explaining like, yo, it's huge in Japan, Dragon Quest, and I was like, it don't look that great. I don't give a damn. It's like it's like I was like, okay, as long as our Final Fantasy's still coming in, I don't whatever. It wasn't really until Dragon Quest Sevens when I really got into the Enix side of things, and basically that was like the only game I want to say. I'm trying to think of another game. It's probably was there another Enix game I liked? There were other Enix games, but I want to say but Dragon Quest is the biggest one, and I did like it. And I mean, I guess you can say Tri-Ace. Maybe they were with Enix. I don't think they were with Square before the merger. So it all like it that's when I really got into them. Like I learned like, oh man, Dragon Quest is actually it's a pretty darn good series, something like that.
Yeah.
I see why Japan liked it. Like that was like the bigger thing. Like it's between them and Final Fantasy. And Final Fantasy got the lead because of they went graphically like up, and with Final Fantasy VII, that was like huge and everything. But now I see that, you know what? That's. But now, like, even though I like Final Fantasy VII, I liked 8. I mean, see, like 9, it went back to the kind of the core of like the fantasy stuff, really. But they like to stay, because now Final Fantasy kind of stays in that realistic kind of mode, and I'm not really big on it. I'm not really big on that. I like to prefer to be more fantasy, but really, I don't even think that's it. I think I will be okay with it. It's just that the story is not that great. I believe the story is not like it. The stories are never really told that great. Well, not never, but the later ones, I just could not get into them. Yeah. Like I just couldn't get into them. I mean, because just looking back, I mean, we look back to Final Fantasy VII and how like that had its problems too. I mean, I understand it, but thinking about it, I'm like, darn, that was really God, it was weird, like how they did like some of the things in that game. But I mean, but it was okay. I mean, it was new. It was something new for me. So it was different. And just like eight, it goes off like it starts off great, but then I think it gets to a point when it gets near the end. That's when stuff starts going rails. Because like when Final Fantasy 7 start getting close to the end, I feel like I wasn't having as much fun as I was at the beginning to the middle. I feel like now it's like, okay, like I don't know. Like once the weapons start coming out, that was kind of cool. But then like when they got close to like, oh, you got to fight Sephiroth, I was like, it doesn't feel. I don't know. I didn't feel like I was having much fun. Just like eight was the same way. Like I get to a point where, darn, it's not as fun as anymore. Even 9 had a similar point, but I did like that more. I like that more than 8 and 9. I mean 7 and 8. And 10, I think throughout 10, because 10 was probably the best, because it was so linear that the story, that was the best probably overall story to me. These Final Fantasies. But yeah, Square Enix with Dragon Quest, like 7, when they had that shell shade Dragon Quest, it looks so good. That's why I liked it. And I was like, oh yeah, this looks really nice. And it looks like Dragon Ball Z. And so I yeah, playing through that game, I was like, yeah, I really like Dragon Quest 7. Like it was fun, but it was a simple story. Like it was like an old timey JRPG, just in like a new look, but it was fun. It was cool, and it had voice acting too. I mean, even though like Square had voice acting, but I wasn't used to the other studios, at least decent voice acting. Like it was decent voice acting, like in this, which I was surprised about. Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna get back down to it. To the Flashback Segment, looking at these gaming covers back 10 years ago in 2013, and we got Xbox Magazine, the official Xbox Magazine, and we got Elizabeth on the front for BioShock Infinite. Behind the scenes, this is this is her new look, right? Or her old look. I forget which look it is.
I think this is her new look because this is after the game came out, right?
Yeah, it is, but it doesn't mean that they just got the old look. Yeah. But I'm trying to remember what the old look was now. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this cover. But this game, you already talked about this last week about how huge it was, but now it's really just being critically shamed now by the gaming world. What else we got? We got Metal Gear Rising, slicing and dicing our expectations. The Walking Dead, Telltale's games on the future of their hit series. Ooh. And Dead Space 3, the horror shooter, gets reviewed. Oh no. I wonder how they liked it. I mean, actually I think we looked to say it got okay, it just wasn't good as 2. Yeah. But overall, people were pretty down on it. State of Decay, the most ambitious zombie game ever. Oh yeah, State of Decay, I remember that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot 2 came out. Yeah,
and 3's in development.
Oh, really? That's right, it is. 10 games for $10. Believe it. Oh, I wonder what those games are. It's probably like the Xbox indie. Like they were. Like where like people can just put up anything up there.
The ID at Xbox Games or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what else we got here? We got PC Gamer in 2013 had Crysis 3 on the front.
Yeah.
The last Crysis game. Exclusive review. Need a reason to play? There's 5 on page 36.
Ooh.
Okay.
And there's 6 reasons not to play on 37.
Road exclusive Total War Rome 2. They showing off storming the gates of 2013's most thrilling war game. Then you have the War Z. Oh yeah, that was that zombie thing, and I think that's still going on.
Zombie thing,
right?
Like World War Z.
No, I think it was actually called War Z. Because I used to get it confused too.
Okay.
I think there was a thing called War Z. Let me see. War Z game. Because World War Z keep coming up.
Yeah.
Everything just coming up World War Z, so maybe that's just what it is, or maybe it got changed. The name get changed.
Yeah, it looks like they changed the name. There's this game now called Infestation Survivor Stories. And
so
it was
because of World War Z, they probably changed it.
So I wonder if they like had to change their name,
or probably wanted to say, "Oh, I'm gonna get confused." Well, actually, no. They would want to get it confused.
Exactly.
People would like it. Yeah. All right, Elemental Fallen Enchantress. I don't know what that is. I'm sure it's probably RPG.
Those sound like RPG words.
Something like that. Yeah. DMC, Devil May Cry on the PC. Yeah. The best. That's Devil May Cry game out there. Air Conflicts, Pacific Carriers. I'm going to say that's a strategy game.
Yeah, it sounds like a boat game.
And The Cave. You know The Cave.
Yeah.
And will we see Fallout 4 on Oh, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Will we see Fallout 4 on TV?
20 years later, you will on Amazon.
The darker side of SimCity.
Oh my.
What side are they talking about? Are they talking about those videos I be seeing with like people having sex with each other and stuff like that using the sim mod?
Oh my god!
Yeah, I seen the darker side. Yes. All right, so now we're going to Game Informer 10 years ago. We got Thief on the front. The classic stealth series leaps to next gen. And I remember playing. I think it had a demo, or we got it for free. I know we got it for free, but I know I played some.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked good, but I'm not a big stealth guy though, so I never stuck with it. But you played the original Thief, right?
Yeah, I played the demos a lot because they were on like one of those like 50 million game demo discs that my stepfather got at some point, and I played the demos for like 1, 2, and 3 quite a bit. Then the Xbox one came out, and that's when everybody was like, oh, they ruined the series, along with like Deus Ex Invisible War, I think.
Yeah.
And I think I played the demo for that, but I never really spent a lot of time with that. And then this one, like, I don't remember anything about this game. Like, I remember it being a thing and coming out, but I don't even remember like what the reception was for it or anything.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I don't think it was bad, because why would I even try it? That was horrible.
Let's see. It looks like on Metacritic it's got a 70 on PC, a 67 on PS4, and a 69 nice on Xbox.
Well, that's why I played it, because I saw it's a 69.
Game Informer gave it an 8. So
yeah, I think it was like adequate. Yeah, I knew it wasn't like big fanfare for this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This was the last Thief game. Was there another Thief game after this one?
I think this is it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it turned to that goblin. What's that goblin name?
Striker?
Sticks.
Yeah, Sticks.
All right. So now we're going back 20 years to PlayStation Magazine, the unofficial PlayStation Magazine. And we have wait a minute. Is this the unofficial one? Yeah, it is the unofficial one. Yeah.
Yeah, 100% independent.
Yeah, I was about to say. I'm just used to I'm used to it having though, like I don't know,
right.
OPM, but whatever. I guess it said fuck them. So we got look at this, the Hulk is up in front. He looks really drawn.
He's cell shaded.
And yeah, so tell me about this game. This is like based off the movie, right?
Yeah, this is based off the Ang Lee movie. I don't think it was particularly great, but it looked all right. Like, it's kind of funny, like, now when you go back and look at that Ang Lee movie, it was very, like, kind of painterly Hulk. It wasn't like the Incredible Hulk or the one you see nowadays with, what's his face, where he's got, like, chest hair and stuff like that. He was very, like, smooth polymer clay looking.
Yeah, it definitely was. What else we have here? We got Resident Evil Dead Aim. Oh, yeah, that's a shooter.
That's what we need the remakes of, Dominic.
PS2 gets a second new RE game. You won't believe.
I didn't believe the first one. I don't know which one it is.
Beaten and rated. EverQuest Online, Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance, and Tenchu 3. How did they beat EverQuest Online?
That was going to be my same question. How did they beat EverQuest Online? They beat every quest, Dominic.
Plus, Time Crisis 3, High Heat 2004, Slugfest 2004, Mega Man X7, World Series Baseball 2K3, Rayman 3, Dynasty Warriors 4, and Chaos Legion. Capcom's next big thing. Chaos Legion, what was that?
I don't know, so clearly it's not Capcom's next big thing. Slugfest was the Blitz version of baseball, right? Where you could just hit people with baseball bats.
Yeah,
Nice.
I don't know if you could do that.
Where you could shoot steroids.
Chaos Legion, I see it up here. It came on PC. It was on PlayStation 2. The game is primarily action oriented. I'm looking to read Wikipedia here. A third person hack and slash video game. And woo, got some great scores. It got
Ric Flair
37 out of 100 on Metacritic for PC and 65 on PS2. So PS2 is actually better than the PC version. Or PC have better standards. It's one or the other. But yeah, this was not, like you said, this was not the best thing because definitely don't remember this. I don't remember this at all. I want to see some video of this game.
This definitely does look like a Capcom-ass game, though.
Like, I don't know any of this. It looks like just like a Devil May Cry, but it looks like a Devil May Cry, but just not as good.
That's what you think. It was better. It's underrated.
Yeah, I don't remember this at all. All right, so what else we have here? We got Game Inform. Oh no, Xbox. I'm sorry, Xbox in 2003. Here we go. The Grand Theft Auto Killer, True Crime, Streets of LA. Who needs Grand Theft Auto, Dave? Because this is the Xbox magazine. They didn't have Grand Theft Auto yet.
Yep.
They said, who needs Grand Theft Auto? True Crime is bigger, better, and badder. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember people talking about it, like, oh, not True Crime's LA, man. And then also Snoop Dogg was dancing and stuff, you know,
Exactly.
in that commercial. God, Snoop Dogg has just become like the definition of sellout should be like him, right? Like next to that,
He is the definition of pulp culture at this point, Dominic. He exists above everything.
Like you still see, and he's still the same.
Yep.
He's still the same. He's a grandfather, but you look at him like he still look like he was in the 90s. he still acts like it. Now he's doing like Corona commercials with I forgot that guy's name. The guy who did the Los Island Boys or whatever they were, you know, Long Island. Supposed to be like
what is his name?
Sandberg?
Yeah, Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg, yeah, he was like doing Corona commercials with him,
Okay.
which is funny because I thought he had his own thought he had his own freaking drink because I seen it. At least I seen it at the liquor store.
Yeah.
I was like, darn. So I guess he said, "Fuck that drink," or you don't really own it. You just really just the face of it. It's just, but yeah, this game I never played it. I never played it because I was a Grand Theft Auto guy, so I was figuring like everything is beneath Grand Theft Auto, unless a magazine says otherwise or something like that. Like, so I didn't really care. I didn't really care about this game, even though people say they had fun with it. I think it got like what was the Metacritic for True Crime?
I'm going to say somewhere in the like high 70s.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking it got that. But yeah, I remember like the talk for this. And this was good for the Xbox guys because they didn't have it. They didn't they didn't have Grand Theft Auto yet. And then when they got it, then they started on bragging and saying like, "Oh, we got a better version." But it was like, man, I played that game like 50 times now. Like I don't want to play Grand Theft Auto anymore. It's just like I want the new one. And we get the new one before you do. All right. So what else we got up here? We got All-Star Baseball 2004 up here. Kung Fu Chaos. I remember that title. I just don't remember what it looks like.
feel like that's like that
Apex.
party game for the Xbox where it was like kind of top down isometric, but you were like kung fu animals.
Okay, the best racing game on Xbox? You decide. Apex. That does sound familiar.
I'm gonna go with no, it's not.
Forza didn't come out yet, Daniel.
Mm.
It's not Apex Legends. I know that. Okay, let's see. Racing.
I feel like I
Here we
remember
go.
Apex a little bit, but
I remember the cover. Let's see what the video shows. Does the video make it look good? I guess because I'm just so used to looking at Forza. This looks like it doesn't have all the details on it.
mm.
Let me say, could this be a potential Forza style game for mobile?
God, that is an ugly cover.
Oh, this is
Dominic.
Apex Racing for the phone. Oh, I was looking at the wrong one. Because I was looking, it's like it is kind of sharp. It's just not a lot of detail.
Yeah. This is
Okay, now I see. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a real car or not, but that thing is bad looking.
What you mean, the red one?
Yeah, on the cover.
Oh, on the cover. Oh. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know if these are these real cars.
Thought I saw a Mercedes logo, but that's the only thing that I feel like I recognize as a real car, and it could just be like a knockoff one that I didn't recognize that it was slightly off-brand looking.
Apex Racing.
Yeah, this looks like an early 2000s racing game. That's for sure.
All right. So what else? Got Soul Calibur 2 up here. Look at that. Look at Spawn. And you got Prehistoric. I remember Prehistoric, the BC.
Oh, yeah.
That never came out, right?
What was that?
That never came out, did it?
I thought it did. Nope, it got canceled. You're right.
Yeah, I remember because I was looking forward to it. So I was like, oh man, I was like jealous. Like, well, I'll get an Xbox when this comes out. And it never came.
That's why to this day you've never had an Xbox.
Yeah. And Deus Ex Invisible War. Prepare yourself for the next Splinter Cell. Really? Darn, that would have turned me off. That would have turned me off. And it's not. That shit was no Splinter Cell. What the fuck?
It's for the best.
I would have been like, shit. I was like, oh, I was kind of looking forward to it. So no, fuck it. All right. What else we have here? Last for 2003, we got Game Informer, Counter-Strike.
Yep.
Coming to the Xbox, baby. In a year without Halo 2, Counter-Strike is Xbox King. Do some coverage inside.
Now, 20 years later, we're talking about Counter-Strike 2.
Yep. Also, the first look at Jedi Knight 3.
Ooh.
And Spy Hunter 2 unveiled. And Onimusha 3. Look, Gene Reno stars in the final installment of the trilogy. And I had that game. I got it for $20.
I remember not knowing who he was at the time, but also, like, they were advertising it like he was a movie star. So I was like, oh, he's somebody important.
And, I mean, I knew him from Godzilla, the 1998 one.
Okay.
That's where I knew him from.
I guess I didn't recognize him from that.
All right, so now we're going back 30 years ago. 30 years. What we got on Game Pro? We got Star Fox. And this page is taking a long time to load. Okay, Star Fox. And drawn. I like him as puppets. I like the puppet ones.
Yeah.
Daniel. Yeah.
Those are good representations.
Yeah.
I like him with the metal legs, though. Give me a metal leg Star Fox any day.
All right, you got. Here we go. What does it say? Super Star Fox Weekend Competition. See page 59. Star Fox blast off with Nintendo's awesome outer space shooter for your Super Nintendo. Then you got free. Look at this, a free Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Pro Strategy Guide. And pro reviews of all these games. Battletoads, Cyborg, Justice, Cool Spot. Yeah, Cool Spot, man. Get that 7 up. Tony La Russa Baseball. That's the one I had. Mm-hmm. That's the game I had. Tony La Russa Baseball, where they couldn't use real MLB teams, but they did have a team called Ball. B-A-L for Baltimore. And they were orange and black. I used to play with them. That's the only team I ever played with, really. Tiny Toon, and I liked it because, wait a minute, no, that was Clint Griffey's Junior's baseball where they broke their backs, like they put it over their leg and break the bat. That was that one. So this one had nothing really special. But since nobody could really play and I knew how to play just a little bit, it was, oh, you beat them, so I'll be like, yes, I'm actually good at something. But that wasn't. It was just like people didn't care about baseball. Tiny Toon Adventures. Chalkin the Forever Man? Chalkan? I don't know what that is. Super Nintendo has Shadowed one. Oh, what?
Is it Turrican? I think that's that game that came back.
That's how you pronounce it?
Years ago.
Chakan? Shuriken? Not with a U?
Oh, no, I'm reading the other one. I'm sorry.
I know Shadow One was on Super Nintendo.
I didn't either.
Oh, this is Super Turrican. That's what you. What was that game? What is this one?
It's like side-scrolling shooter type thing. It came back a couple of years ago on like the Switch. And they were like, "Oh, it's Turrican. People like this game." And it's like, I've never heard of that thing in my life. Mech
Warrior. I didn't know Mech Warrior was a Super Nintendo. What the hell is that? Is that in like in the that what's that mode called that I don't like?
Like Star Fox, the mode 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Super NBA basketball. I know Super Nintendo had their own basketball. Okay. Pokey and Rocky? Or Pocky and Rocky? What the fuck is that?
That sounds familiar. It's either Porky the Pig or it's a caveman. Let's see. Okay, that's not at all what I expected. It's apparently something Japanese. And there's a raccoon.
It's a raccoon. Well, they should bring that back, Daniel. They should get Pocky and Rocky back. Sega CD had Road Avenger, Hook. Yeah. So I want to play as Robert Williams. As the old Peter Pan. The Adventures of the Willie Beamish. Yep. One of my favorite games. Adventures of Willie Beamish. Yep. And I used to think it was just on a Sega CD, and I was mad because I was like, oh man, this game looks like a cartoon. And that's why I want a Sega CD. But I remember my dad, like, because he was traveling. They was on business, and I think he was traveling like all over the country. And he said some stuff was coming. And my mama said, yeah, some stuff was coming for Dad's computer. And I opened it, and my dad said, like, yeah, tell me what was in it. And it's like, oh yeah, this is CD-ROM, and these are the games. And I was like, oh, that's Willie Beamish. I said, oh my God, I thought that was just on Sega CD. So I couldn't wait till he get home so he can hook that shit up. What we got here? DuckTales 2. I know I had DuckTales the game. I don't know if I don't think I had DuckTales 2. Well, my brother had it. I mean, actually, no, that actually might have been mine's. Yeah, that might have been my game because I don't think he would have won DuckTales. RC, Pro-Am 2, Bomberman 2, Dizzy the Adventurer. Dizzy? I guess that's not Dizzy Devil, right? From Tiny Toons?
I don't think so.
What the hell is he, an egg? Yep, he's an egg. Dizzy, Prince of the Yolk Folk.
Ugh. The Yolk Folk.
But it says Dizzy the Adventurer. I don't think that's the same guy, yeah.
Telling me he got multiple games, Dominic.
Yeah, he did. Why this is 5 out of 5 on yolkfolk.com? That's some bullshit. All right. So what they got here? They got Shinobi 2, Global Gladiators, Power Factor, first look at Street Final Fight 2 for the Super Nintendo, and a sneak peek, not games and hardware from the hot games. I'm about to say what the hell does that mean? Hot games and hardware from the Consumer Electronics Show.
Ooh, yeah.
I used to always, like, my dad used to always talk about, like, going to the computer show. That was, like, a big thing. Like, every time I was at Timonium, it's like, going to the computer show, I'm thinking it was like a show, Daniel. Like they were people would dance and like it was.
Nope, just the flea market.
Like, yeah, I went there. I was like, this is not what I thought it was. I was like, holy shit. I was like, where's the clowns and stuff? Like, what is going? Like, where's the party? It's like, all right, EGM. Here we got Dracula. I remember this movie because my dad had it, and it was also with Matrix Man in there, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I just remember the Dracula. The big thing is like the shadow moving on its own, and that's what Simpsons did. It made fun of it, and so that was like a reference I could get when I was a kid. So, oh, I know this reference. I said, I know what that is. That's just like from Dracula. I thought it was like a good movie. I mean, as a kid, I don't know about credit stuff, and then when I got older, I saw like it wasn't really that good. I said, wow. I kept thinking it was like a huge movie or something. Because I used to see commercials for it like all the fucking time. Man, they're probably just promoting it and all, but that's why some of you thought it was like a hot movie that everybody liked. I remember the ending. I remember the ending very well when they killed Dracula. And I remember the hallway when he was talking to him. And his shadow was moving on by himself.
See, I don't think I've seen it.
All right, well, so what else we got here? Batman Returns, Blaster Master 2, Fatal Fury 2, Cool Spot, man. Yes, what's on? Toys. Oh, yes, another Robin Williams. Robin Williams got the Toys game,
yeah,
and then he got a Hook, G-Lock, and Shining Force
too.
What, G-Lock?
Yeah.
What is G-Lock?
I don't know.
Oh, look at this exclusive X-Men and Dracula contest. That X-Men Dracula. I mean, like that's a weird combination. All right. What else we have here? We got Nintendo Power. This is the last one. Oh, I was going to keep one of these.
Why?
I remember
you can
two
see
Star
his
Fox
beautiful metal legs in this, Dominic. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
Star Fox.
I forget that he has metal legs, Daniel. Like I
don't think it's canon anymore.
Oh, okay.
I think they gave him like Luke Skywalker metal legs where they look like real legs.
They ain't give him one. They gave him two because like that's silver down there.
Yep.
That's some fucked up shit. Like what the fuck? Somebody just like somebody Anakin Skywalkered him. or they Kenobi'd him. They Kenobi'd I don't know. No, they turned to Anakin. What would that be better? To say Kenobi? Somebody did a Kenobi on him?
I think Anakin is a good one. We know what that means. I can't quite tell in the background if Pepe's legs are also like that or if they look just boots.
They do look the same, Daniel.
Falcos
that's freaking
look like
weird.
They definitely are. So maybe it's a pilot thing. To work in our wing, you got to chop your legs off.
Like they have a shoe that gets the freaking calf muscle like that too. It's like that's weird.
They're latex, Dominic. They're so form fitting.
So everybody just got Falcon doesn't look like he has one on. I can't tell Pepe.
Yeah, Pepe's behind the Star Fox text.
And what's the bunny name?
That's Pepe. Yeah, Slippy's the one behind.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Frog
what's the frog name?
Slippy.
Well, I can't see Slippy's legs.
Yeah. If you look hard enough, it almost looks like the ski of the R wing is actually his foot.
Yeah. I guess everybody just they must have been tortured or something, and there's people just cut their legs off.
It's like Rocket Raccoon. It's just like him. How do you think they became talking human-like animals?
All right. So that is it for the flashback segment. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to the gaming news.
All right.
And we're back. Let's get to the gaming news. What we got there?
All right. First up, Dominic, we got some news on some new DLC for Vampire Survivors. It's called Tides of the Foscari. It's coming out April 13th for $2. It includes 8 new heroes and lots of other items and stuff. 13 weapons, 3 musical tracks, and 21 achievements, as well as a new stage called the Lake of Fiscari. So what do you think, Dominic? Is this going to keep you playing?
Yes, it will. I don't even know what the hell all that shit is. I don't know what it means, but I know it will keep me playing it.
I mean, that's the thing. They make this DLC so cheap, too. Like, you already kind of just want to keep playing the game anyway, and then they release content for $2, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
Like, I didn't even think about it with the first one. I was just like, oh, yeah, I'm playing this game for free on Game Pass. Like, I can give them $2. Why not? You know?
Exactly.
So,
oh, is that why I can play it?
Yes.
Oh, shit, Dad. Because I was thinking, like, I was surprised. I was like, I was like, oh, Game Pass actually paid for DLC. That's weird. I didn't realize that's why I was able to play it.
Yeah. Because, and I like that level that's in there. It seemed pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the thing, like, coming to it kind of later than everybody else, I don't know what is part of, like, the main game, what was added on later, and what was part of the DLC, really. I just want all the items so I can experiment with all the combinations.
But you understand the story now, right?
With some single-player story DLC. All right, next up, Dominic, we got a Nintendo Direct for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Just kind of a short, I think it was like 15-minute thing.
Oh, shit, it happened. Yeah. I didn't realize it.
Yeah, so...
I thought, Daniel, when I saw that, like, cause I wasn't like really reading it, I just see the words. I thought it was like Zelda TikTok. I was like, oh, what's this about?
Yes, they announced the Zelda TikTok.
Just because the abbreviation of Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. So they showed this stuff off. It basically focused on the new abilities that Link has. We've seen it in the trailer, the Ascension ability, where he basically just like raised up through the ceiling. It sounds like basically anywhere there's a place that you can go inside and then there's a roof on top of it, you can basically just kind of teleport straight through the rock onto the roof. They show in the trailer, they show in this gameplay, a cave that the guy goes into, and then he just bloop, goes up to the top of it, so you don't have to use stamina to climb anymore. That could be a positive for you, if you're less reliant on having to climb things and making traversal a little better. Another thing that they showed off is the fuse ability, and basically what they did is they took a stick, like a branch from a tree, and then they fused it to a rock and made a hammer. Basically what I'm saying, Dominic, is they turned Zelda into Minecraft and or Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts.
Okay.
Because that is what they focused on in this completely. They showed that. They also showed off the Ultra Hand, which is basically what allows you to like combine the fuse ability with making bigger things. Like they made a boat with 3 pieces of wood and then added 2 motors to it to make it kind of like a jet ski thing. They said the vehicles that you had seen in the previous trailers, there was kind of like a hot air balloon thing and then like a kind of truck thing that you were riding on. Those are not things that are in the game. Those are things that you can make in the game. They talked about a lot about basically like the freedom of you kind of exploring and finding different means of doing things in this world. Now, with that said, like, to me, that stuff's cool, but it's not really stuff that I'm going to get super engaged with. It'll be neat to see how other people use it in crazy ways. I mean, it was neat to see what people could do in Breath of the Wild and like just teleport themselves using a rock and the one power that frees time to like shoot themselves into Ganon's castle or whatever. So that stuff will definitely be cool, but what I want to see is kind of like some more traditional Zelda stuff. It's not like I don't want this game if it doesn't have dungeons. But like I would like to see at least shrines or dungeons or something, It's not like I'm looking for story necessarily, because Zelda games have never been that, but I'm definitely looking for some of the more traditional, like kind of puzzly action stuff from that I'm used to from Zelda. So we'll see. We're only a couple of months away.
So there's no cheat mode. They don't have a cheat mode or something. Like, can you just do anything?
I don't know. It kind of seems like this could make it like a cheat mode, basically. Like, there's still weapon durability. They talked about like the stick breaking, but like if I can just pick up 2 pieces of something and fuse them together and make this super cool weapon, I don't know if it matters. Like, there's a silly moment in it where they take a branch and then they add a pitchfork to it, and then Link is carrying around this like 20-foot long pitchfork and just poking enemies. And then crazy. There was another moment where I
gotta watch this video.
Yeah, there's another moment where they stick an eyeball to an arrow and then it does like a homing arrow thing. Or you can stick like an ice element to an arrow and then that'll turn it into ice arrow, basically. Like, that's what excites me, is the idea of like using all of this freedom to basically solve puzzles in my own ways. That I think that's what could be kind of the gimmick to this game.
All right.
So
cool.
Yeah, looks all right. I hope to see more of it, though. Something that makes me go, yeah, definitely, I want this game.
Yeah, when you buy it.
Yep, I already bought it. So, next up, Dominic, this is kind of where things go downhill for the week. Multiversus. Warner Brothers has announced that the open beta is coming to an end, because as up until now it has been in an open beta status, apparently.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's how games are.
Yeah. So as of April 4th, they're going to be delisting it from, places you can buy it like Steam. And then as of June 25th, it is going to go offline. It sounds like there's going to be some limited single player kind of stuff you can do. But they're basically taking the whole game offline with the intention to allegedly relaunch it again in 2024. But considering like what we saw a couple of months ago at the beginning of the year, like this onslaught of just death of live service games, like, what do you think the chances are that we actually see this game come back in any substantial form?
That is, I think they will, but I just don't. Maybe it was going to look. Let's do something really special, man, to make people like, yeah, this is awesome. Is this still going to be free to play?
That's a good question. I wonder if they. So that's where it becomes difficult, right? Because they've been selling stuff for this open beta. So like, if you then relaunch and say, hey, our game is $20 or $30 as they try and get like what little bit of money out of the people that still want to play that game, you're then shutting off the people that bought content for that game but now can't play that game because you're charging for it without buying it again, like, or buying it for the first time. Like, it gets really messy, I feel like.
Yeah, this is like, it's one thing to be like, okay, like I was reading some stories like, okay, it's going to shut down and they'll be back in like maybe a couple months or something, or a month, like not that long, but darn, they talking about like next year.
Yeah.
It's like,
and they're not even giving a definitive like timeline for next year. It's just like, could be January 2024. It could be December 2024.
I'm used to things. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I know technically you did say beta, but I'm used to betas like with a live service game. It just goes right into the real thing.
Yeah.
Like like because they're updating every now and then, and they say, oh, we're gonna be out for a week or 2 weeks or something like that because we gotta fix this. Like, oh, we're gonna be out for some days or something, and then it's like, oh, we're relaunching 2 weeks, so we'll be out of beta. But they talking about a whole year. Like, that is, woo.
And it really just sounds like this is like the soft death of this game, because like it already wasn't keeping up player wise, and it seems like that's probably why they're taking it offline. So what is the incentive to them to actually ever bring it back? That's my question.
Yeah, I mean, unless they, I mean, maybe to make some more money. That's the only that's the incentive.
Yeah. But like, how do they make that money? Do they start charging people for it, or So yeah, it's weird.
So what's the like? That's the reason they said they taking it off because is like there's too many problems.
I think they're basically saying like, hey, the intention this whole time was that this is an open beta, and in order to address the community's concerns and make this the game that they want, we're going to have to, do some serious work on it. So we're going to have to take it offline.
Yeah, that's almost sounds like, I'm not going to say this is what it is, but it could sound like we're not making as much money as we want on this. And let's just say we'll come back on this, and then we just say, fuck it.
And then disappear with what little DLC money that you got from people, right? Yeah, that's really rough. I mean, that game came out, seemed pretty cool, but I guess it just did not keep the audience that they were looking for. And yeah, I mean, they seem to be supporting it during like the initial like beginning of season 1, and then it seemed like characters kind of slowed down, and then eventually it sounds like they went silent on season 2 stuff. So I don't know, man. Real rough for anybody that spent money on that game, I feel like.
Yeah, I know. I'm pissed because I did. Dang, I bought LeBron.
Did you?
I was. Yeah,
you just had to beat him up.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'm gonna use this. Yep, and I was gonna just go into games and have the people have at him. Have at me. Go ahead, beat the living crap out of him.
And that they did.
And now, darn. That's what I'm gonna blame on this. I'm gonna blame LeBron. I'm blaming LeBron why they're doing this to this game.
Well, they took his character out of there for a while because he was like broken or whatever. So that was the death of it. People were like, "Oh man, if LeBron's not in the game, then we're not gonna play the game anymore." So it is all his fault, Dominic. It's all his fault.
Goddamn shame, Daniel.
All right,
Goddamn
Dominic.
shame.
This one might be his fault too because it's LA related. So let's just blame LeBron. E3 is dead. They've once again canceled.
They did as if when did this happen? When did they officially say it?
I think the 30th, so 2 days ago. I just saw it.
Okay,
I think last night.
That makes sense because I was out of it because I was really paying attention much. I did a sleep study like that night, and then yesterday I basically slept all day. So that doesn't make any sense because I should have slept at a sleep study, but I did, but I didn't have a good sleep. So so I ended up coming back and just sleeping all day. But darn. So they finally did because that's what we were all asking like, man, nobody's showing up. So what the F is going to be there?
Yeah, so it started earlier this week when there was talk that Ubisoft, well, it wasn't even talk. Ubisoft announced that they were not going to be a part of it. And then shortly after that, there were rumors that Tencent and Sega were also not going to be a part of it. And it sounds like basically as soon as they announced that they were not going to be a part of it, the ESA just said, hey, everything digital and physical for E3 is canceled. Everything that I've seen points to basically ReedPop got started really late organizing this event. So therefore plans were not locked in at a time that it would have been advantageous for publishers to schedule all their stuff. We're talking about right now, it's April 1st as of recording this, and June 15th or something is usually about when E3 is. People have got to get their tickets. They've got to, depending on if you're just a fan, you got to get time off. If you're an actual journalist, you got to requisition the money and schedule out all the stuff and plan your teams going there and all that nonsense. Like, if they couldn't have figured that out before now, nobody else can make plans, right? So I understand why these companies are pulling out if they haven't set up well to actually make this happen, which is surprising to me because like I thought ReedPop coming in would have been like at least a step towards salvation, right? Like they know how to put on an event. They put on PAX. They put on, I think, like New York Comic Con or something like that. Like these guys are big organizers. That's what they do. The ESA has clearly not been able to handle that aspect of it very well for a while now. So you bring in these professionals, you get them to handle it, and it sounds like that just did not work out for them. And now is we've talked about it basically every year since the pandemic stuff started. It sounded like things were going bad for them that year. The pandemic actually like helped them by giving them a reason as to why things might fall apart there. The following year it was like, okay, we're doing this digital only thing, and even that wasn't like spectacular. And then it's just like, okay, yeah, now is the year where things could have been pulled off. You know, they just had PAX East, you know, they had a mask mandate or whatever. So it's not completely back to normal, but it's not like, you know, people aren't gathering anymore, right? This would have been the year that they could get everything back on board. And if they were successful next year, you know, you take one step more and hopefully at some point you can convince these larger publishers like Nintendo and Microsoft and Sony that it's worth their while to come there. I mean, these companies go to places like PAX. Like, what is the difference between that and E3? I mean, obviously they can go online and put their videos up like Nintendo has done, and now everybody else is doing as well with these direct style things. But obviously there's some level of like return on investment, I guess, for these companies that they would go to a place like PAX East or PAX West or PAX whatever, you know. So it's not just hey, we need a place to put out our message. Like you seemingly want to put your games in the hands of people as well. So like, why not continue with E3 if there is something advantageous for them, right? But
yeah,
with this whole ReedPop thing and the ESA just not being able to pull it off, yeah, obviously it's going to die. And now you have Jeff Keighley out there, you know, giving people a different option, you know. Yeah, maybe competition was too much for him, I guess, basically, you know. So it's rough, Dominic. I can't believe we're here, but like this has got to be like the nail in the coffin, right? Like we can say next year we're going to do it again, or, you know, I think their statement even said like, oh, ReedPop and the ESA are working on future E3 events or whatever. But like at a certain point, you got to just admit defeat and not keep doing this whole thing. 'Cause like this is going to be a big blow to the ESA and ReedPop because they paid for the LA Convention Center or wherever it's taking place. Like they're not getting that money back, you know, despite, you know, not having the event. So that's a big loss for them. I also wonder, like there've been lots of rumors going around that Konami was kind of one of the big parties still invested in E3 because they have something big to show off this year, possibly like a Metal Gear Solid or Metal Gear Solid 2 or 3 or one of them remake or remaster or something like that. Like what do they do now? Do they just, you know, put out a video just like everybody else? Do they try and get in Jeff Keighley's good graces? I don't know if that works out for Konami, what with his relationship with Kojima. Like where does that put them? Do we now not see that until like a Tokyo Game Show or something like that? I feel like that's an interesting aspect of it as well, because there were some companies that were still going to be showing something off. Ubisoft has already said that they're doing their own, Ubisoft Forward or whatever they call theirs the day after, I think, Microsoft's event. So, around that time still. So we're still kind of seeing some of that. We're still going to get announcements from these companies. It's maybe just not going to be quite as consolidated as it has in the past. And I think you've talked about it, and that's kind of the biggest thing we lose here, right? When we lose E3 is like this 1 week that's like dedicated to gaming that was kind of like this really special thing, especially when we were younger and didn't necessarily have work to do, or, like you ignore work. Sometimes you take off from work and you're like, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to watch all the coverage from this because there's so much gaming happening.
I mean, because back in the day, like when we was at Target, that's when I really started watching like the one stuff that was on G4 and everything. And other people online, like they have their own little shows online. Like since we worked overnight, I was like, well, I'm just going to stay up all day and just watch this shit and just be tired of shit going to work because who gives a fuck? Yep. I'm just going to be angry. I said, that's going to be Future's Dominic's problem. And Future Dominic hated past Dominic for causing these problems. But yeah, I used to love that, watching that shit. And then I always fall asleep because I'm still somewhat tired. I'll be watching it, then I'll be dozing off. These are just staying in the living room. Oh man, those were some good bad times.
Yeah,
good bad times. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
but no, it sucks. It sucks that. But I mean, I still like it to be there. Like even though I probably ain't gonna be watching it like I was or anything. But I like to, like, I come home from work or something, and I was like, hey, let me look up and see what's happening on the E3 show, man. Just have this on in the background or something while I'm doing something, just looking at, seeing what the games out there, what they talking to developers about, or, things of that nature. And it sucks that we don't have it like that anymore, like what it used to be. Like, I like what we have with these little pop-up shows that they do, but it's not the same as having somebody ask questions, getting their own input, because they're just telling you what they want. It's not really like an interview or nothing.
Yeah.
And people watching somebody actually play the game, sometimes seeing that, like having like on G4 where they had somebody on the show floor actually playing the game, and then they even tell you how it was to them. I mean.
Yeah,
now
exactly. You get kind of a difference of opinion, right? Like I played this game and I thought the controls felt tight and this, that, and the other, and somebody else comes along and you're like, I don't know quite a bit about that.
Yeah.
My disappointment is like, I would have hoped that the death of E3 was because these demos and things that were limited to this one building in LA could be like democratized, and you could just have them online and everybody could try them out.
Yeah, I remember you saying that for years ago.
Yeah,
you've been saying that for years.
We've seen touches of that. Steam's done some stuff like that. Xbox very much was like on the
especially during the COVID times.
Stuff.
Yeah, because I was playing those games. That was temporary. Some of those games were temporary demos. They would go away, and some of them would stay. But exactly, but it doesn't seem like we're not getting as like what we thought though. We're not getting what like they did at E3. It just seems like when there's like maybe some indie game might do that. Every now and then something sort of big might do something, but it's just we're not getting that level like you want that that people got to play at demos at E3.
Nope. So, yeah, we'll see what the future has to hold for E3 and the summer games kind of consolidation. But yeah, it's so crazy because like once the Ubisoft stuff started happening, I was kind of like, man, then there was talk of like, oh yeah, by this weekend they're going to cancel it, and I was kind of like, I really hope they cancel it before the podcast so we can talk about this. Like while it's fresh, because like, and then I looked because I hadn't seen it like pop up as big news anywhere. So I looked last night to start writing the notes and stuff, and I saw that it had been canceled, and I'm like, it feels like it wasn't even that big a thing that it was canceled. I mean, probably mostly because it was almost inevitable, but at the same time, like, it's sad that it's not that big a news, right?
Yeah, it really is. Like, and the way people treat it, like, I mean, I see some people like really treat it like, say, yeah, I'm glad it's gone. We don't need this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, that's some jaded assholes. It's like, Jesus. I mean, like it's some disdain, especially for people who didn't go or something. Like, say, what the hell you hate it for? Just like, what does E3 do that really cause you any problems?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I can understand maybe some people. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I feel like when we first started this podcast, like, one of the ideas would be like, yeah, maybe one day we'll be big enough that we can go to E3, right? and be like correspondents or whatever.
There'll just be nothing there. But yeah. I'd be like, hey, can we just go into space even though it's been bought? Can we just...
They're not using it. Let me just set up a booth in the middle like Konami used to, where they didn't have anything to show off. Yeah, it's so sad. Because, like, I remember even, like, as late as a couple of years ago, we were making, like, special podcasts for E3 because, like, they're doing these conferences and everything's big. And now it's like, it'll wait till Saturday, Nothing's that important. It's just, man. Video games are, like, both the biggest thing in the world now, and also, like, I guess becoming so ubiquitous that, like, it's just becoming another thing, and it's not as special as it was, despite being at its biggest, being bigger, making more money than Hollywood, annually or whatever.
Yeah. They ruined it, Daniel. They ruined our games.
They ruined our games. Yeah. So, all right, Dominic, was there anything else you want to say to that, or any other topics you saw this week?
No, I'm good.
All right, we'll get into new releases here real quick. We got The Last of Us Part 1 on PC. It sounds like that game has launched in pretty bad shape, unfortunately. So maybe hold off until some updates for that game. I heard on Steam Deck, if people play it there, like, the initial load time is over an hour long, and that's because, like, the way the Steam Deck, like, sets up the games, it's like preloads the shaders and stuff, but even then it's, like, more excessive than any other game has been, and even after it's loaded in the shaders to improve performance, it still runs like trash. And there's also just problems with the base PC version as well. So that's unfortunate. I wonder, because they delayed it a little bit. I wonder if they delayed it and then when, oh man, we're, like, getting outside of the window of the television show now that season is ended, and they wanted to get a product out there for people that wanted to continue the adventures of that television
So, like, what's the
show.
problems again? I'm sorry, because something...
Basically, the performance is just really poor.
Oh, it's just poor. Okay.
Yeah. So it sounds like it has not been well optimized. So, yeah, hopefully they will continue to work on that. I'm sure they will. I don't look at this as, like, a bad sign where, like, where Sony is, divesting themselves in PC. It sounds like, if anything, they're going to be, spending more money and more time bringing their games to PC.
This is like the first big thing, right?
This is the first big one that's, like, close to the release of the other one, right? Like, this one comes a lot sooner than either of the Spider-Man games. It comes sooner than what's the other? The Uncharted games.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely the closest thing they've had to, like, one of their big releases coming out somewhere near the time that the PlayStation 5 equivalent has come out. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. MLB The Show 23, of course, you mentioned that earlier. That's now out on Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and Game Pass, of course. Sifu is now out on the Xbox and Xbox Series consoles. I thought that was going to be a Game Pass thing. As it turns out, that is not, but that does have, I think, a new mode, like an arena mode. It's basically unlimited fighting until you get beat, basically. Survival, I guess you would say.
Oh, okay.
And then this game kind of came out of nowhere, sort of.
It was like an April Fool's joke?
It seems like it was like an April Fool's joke, because I was like, oh, what time is it? Maybe this is a April Fool's joke in Japan, but it's a real product that is released. So even if it is an April Fool's joke, it's seemingly a well executed one. The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. This is now out on Steam. It is basically like Ace Attorney.
That's what I was about to say, yeah.
But with Sonic being dead.
And I guess you see Tails and Amy. I guess they're working on the case.
Yeah. So
I don't understand why they're smiling. I be seeing like them smiling in some scene. I'm like, Sonic just died. I don't know how you smile.
Maybe we find out that he's not actually dead and it's like a murder mystery type thing. But yeah, it's funny because like the trailer sets it up as like Sonic finally, as all of the fans have wanted, dead. And then they just show him on the ground. Like legit dead. Yeah. So like, even if this is just an April Fool's joke, like, hell yeah, man, this is great.
All right. So I ain't got nothing else to say.
All right. Well, in that case, we'll wrap this podcast up. Thank you guys as always for listening. You can check us out on Twitter. Dominic is at DStalworth5. I'm at Regulus MB. The podcast is at Superpod, SUPAPOD. Superpod.com is the website. You can check us out there. It has links to all the places you can find the podcast, as well as all of our old episodes, including YouTube, where there's a video version of this podcast, as well as iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcast, and Spotify. Until next time, guys, talk to you later.
All right, see you.